Enzo Fernández takes everyone by surprise. I don't know if I'll stay at Chelsea. My future will be decided after the World Cup. Where might he go? When Enzo Fernández, the elegant, incisive midfield maestro, whose rise has been as rapid as it has been richly deserved, declares uncertainty about his club future, the football world leans in. The Argentine's words are simple but seismic. I don't know if I'll stay at Chelsea. My future will be decided after the World Cup. Spoken with the quiet candor that has become his hallmark, the sentence is at once a statement of personal honesty and a signal flare sent across a global transfer market that pulses with possibility. In this long-form exploration, we will unpack what lies behind Enzo's remark, chart the landscape of clubs that might pursue a player of his profile, examine how tactical fit, finances, and personal preference could shape his decision, and imagine the short and long-term consequences for Enzo himself, for Chelsea, and for the clubs who might mount realistic bids. We'll look at 4 broad destination categories: a return to Argentina or South America, a move to one of Europe's elite clubs, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Paris Saint-Germain, a transfer within the Premier League, and the possibility of remaining at Chelsea but under transformed conditions. Throughout, the goal is to be detailed, fair, and vivid, to do justice to a player whose technical gifts and positional intelligence make him one of the most intriguing midfield prospects in world football. A portrait of Enzo Fernández, why he matters. To understand where Enzo might go, we must first appreciate what he brings. Enzo is not merely a midfielder, he is a composite of qualities that make him adaptable and valuable across systems. Technical excellence, near-perfect first touch, crisp short passing, and the ability to switch the point of attack with long-range diagonal balls. Tactical intelligence, reads the game early, anticipates transitions, and positions himself to shield the backline or to link defense and attack. Versatility, comfortable as a deep-lying playmaker, box-to-box midfielder, or in a double pivot. He can maintain tempo and control while contributing forward. Composure under pressure. Age aside, his temperament in big moments is notable. He rarely panics when pressed, instead using body orientation and ball security to reset play. Defensive contribution. Not just a creator, he demonstrates disciplined pressing, interceptions, and tactical fouls when necessary. These attributes make him a coveted building block for managers who prize ball progression, midfield control, and structure, traits fashionable in the modern game and particularly prized by clubs seeking sustainable, possession-based dominance. The context of the quote, Enzo's statement about an undecided future coming after the World Cup is a relatively common form of athlete diplomacy. Players often defer major decisions before a global tournament to avoid distractions, to maintain focus on national duty, and to preserve their market value depending on performance. Yet there are subtle layers. Strategic leverage. Keeping options open increases negotiating power. A standout World Cup can double or triple a player's market attractiveness. Personal clarity. A tournament can reveal priorities, whether the player prefers to stay put for stability, move to a club offering guaranteed minutes, or chase trophies with a different institution. Chelsea's flux. Chelsea's managerial and sporting direction has experienced volatility in recent seasons. Ownership stability, transfer policy, and the manager's preferred tactical setup all affect a midfielder's role and attractiveness to stay. Given these dynamics, the months encompassing the World Cup become a crucible where external interest, internal persuasion, and personal aspiration converge. Key factors that will shape Enzo's decision: playing time and role. World-class clubs can be magnets, but playing time and the role offered often determines whether a transfer is wise. Enzo will weigh whether he'll be a starter, a tactical complement, or a rotation piece. At 22 to 24 years old, depending on the exact timing, consistent minutes are critical for development. Managerial style and vision. Some coaches prefer midfielders who strictly hold positions, others want roaming creative presences. Enzo's game likely flourishes under a coach who trusts his decision-making and integrates him into a central role with structural freedom. Tactical fit. Clubs playing possession-based football with fluid midfield triangles, i.e. a 4-3-3 with a single pivot or double pivot, will be more attractive. Systems demanding relentless defensive work rate or extreme physicality might require adaptation. Financial package and transfer fee. While sporting factors usually predominate for ambitious players, contract terms, wages, and transfer fee implications for both player and selling club will matter. Chelsea's recoup target and the buyer's willingness to spend are decisive. National team considerations. Continuity for Argentina's midfield is key. Playing at a high competitive level keeps Enzo in the national team picture. The World Cup itself can catalyze moves to clubs where he believes his international career will be best served.
personal life and cultural fit. Language, lifestyle, family preferences, and the cultural milieu of a city all influence transfers, particularly for South American players who establish roots in European life slowly. Possible destinations, realistic scenarios and their appeal. Remaining at Chelsea, the stay and grow scenario. Why it makes sense. Stability, Chelsea can offer a regular starting role if the manager commits to building a midfield around him. Familiarity, he already knows the club, some teammates, and the Premier League's physical demands. Ambition, Chelsea is a club where trophies are expected. The right sporting plan could make it attractive. Challenges, managerial turnover. Chelsea's recent trend of frequent managerial changes could jeopardize his role. Tactical mismatch, if Chelsea's manager wants a different midfield profile, Enzo may be underutilized. Financial and project clarity, without a long-term sporting director blueprint, Enzo's development might stagnate. Outcome likelihood, moderate. If Chelsea offers a clear path to being central to the team's midfield and a competitive wage, staying is plausible, but only if the club can assure sporting stability. Move to Real Madrid, the Galacticos fit. Why it makes sense. Sporting prestige, Real Madrid remains the pinnacle for many players. They offer Champions League pedigree, a winning tradition, and elite teammates. Style alignment, Madrid often prizes deep-lying playmakers who can link defense to attack, and Enzo, who excels in tempo control, would fit well. Argentina connection, past and present Argentine players at Real Madrid, i.e. past icons like Di Stefano, current overlaps, ease cultural acclimatization. Challenges, competition, Madrid's midfield roster is stacked, and the pressure is immense. Playing time may be less certain. Transfer politics, Madrid typically targets proven superstars or tactical pieces with immediate impact. They might find Enzo's profile attractive, but only if he proves himself on the World Cup stage. Outcome likelihood, feasible if Enzo's World Cup display is exceptional, and Madrid sporting directors see him as an ideal long-term successor to aging midfielders. The narrative would be intoxicating. A young Argentine maestro joining Real Madrid. Barcelona, the possession-first option. Why it makes sense. Tactical fit, Barcelona's philosophy of possession, short passes, and midfield control suits Enzo's technical and tactical skills. La Masia legacy. While Barcelona has leaned on homegrown talent, they also recruit smart midfielders who can anchor the tempo. Language and lifestyle. Spanish-speaking culture eases adaptation. Challenges, financial constraints. Barcelona's finances have been periculous, limiting big-money moves. Squad needs, Barcelona may prioritize players with exceptional mobility or a specific profile to complement Pedri and Gundogan or De Jong. Outcome likelihood, possible if Barcelona can balance their books and Marco Enzo's price tag is reasonable. An Enzo who can provide ball progression and defensive balance would be tempting. Paris Saint-Germain, the superstar city. Why it makes sense. Ambition and resources. PSG can offer top wages and a platform to win domestic titles and chase Champions League glory. Project Allure. Playing alongside global superstars and under media spotlight can elevate global profile. Challenges. Identity and role. PSG often prioritizes star attackers. The midfield role can be constructed around marquee names, sometimes sidelining team balance. Competition pressure. A rotating cast and tactical inconsistency can hinder a young player's growth. Outcome likelihood. Realistic from a financial standpoint, but stylistic and developmental concerns might make Enzo cautious. Bayern Munich, the German dynamo. Why it makes sense. Stability and structure. Bayern provides coaching stability, elite facilities, and a culture of both domestic dominance and Champions League ambition. Midfield pedigree. Bayern values versatile midfielders who can both break lines and defend intelligently. Challenges. Language and adaptation to the Bundesliga tempo. The Bundesliga's specific physicality and pressing intensity might require adaptation. Competition for minutes. Bayern's depth can mean a transitional period before becoming a starter. Outcome likelihood. Plausible. Bayern often invests in young, intelligent midfielders and offers continuity. Enzo could be a long-term fit. A return to Argentina or South America, the emotional homecoming. Why it makes sense. Personal fulfillment, returning home to River Plate or another South American giant could be emotionally resonant. Iconic role. He could become a club leader, particularly if he seeks to reconnect before a later European return. Less pressure for a World Cup cycle. Returning home might offer more family time and cultural connection. Challenges. Competitive level. South American leagues don't match the UEFA competitions in exposure and level. A move there could slow European prospects. Financial downsides. Wages and commercial profile would likely decline. Outcome likelihood. Unlikely if Enzo aims to remain at the top of club football, but possible if personal reasons outweigh sporting ones. Another Premier League club. Tactical continuity without the Blues. Why it makes sense. Premier League familiarity. Staying in England reduces acclimatization time. Clubs like Manchester City, Liverpool, Arsenal, or Manchester United could see him as a missing puzzle piece. Which clubs could be realistic? Manchester City. Tactical fit excellent. Pep values ball-playing midfielders, but City's midfield is crowded and purchase price could be astronomical. Liverpool. Historically prizes energetic, intense midfielders rather than positional metronomes, but a tactical evolution could make Enzo interesting. Arsenal. Mikel Arteta's model might suit Enzo as a stabilizing partner in midfield, but transfer funds and priorities could influence feasibility. Manchester United. They have the platform and financial clout, and a midfield rebuild could center around a talent like Enzo. Challenges. Cost and competition. High asking prices and the need to compete for his signature make such moves complex. Managerial systems. Not every club's style would play to Enzo's strengths immediately. Outcome likelihood. High interest probable. Actual moves hinge on Chelsea's valuation and the buying club's readiness to offer both money and a clear role. A closer look at each potential big money move. Real Madrid, the case for El Proyecto Argentino. Sporting case. Madrid have a history of integrating midfielders who can dictate pace. Enzo's intelligence and ball circulation skills fit the template of a central orchestrator. Strategic timing. If Real wants a generational midfield transition, signing a young Argentine talent after a strong World Cup could be part of a broader rebuild. Risks. Enzo would face enormous pressure and the constant shadow of proven predecessors. Madrid's expectations are relentless. Barcelona, a home for possession purists. Sporting case. Barcelona's philosophy of possession, short passes, and midfield control suits Enzo's technical and tactical skills. La Masia legacy. While Barcelona has leaned on homegrown talent, they also recruit smart midfielders who can anchor the tempo. Language and lifestyle. Spanish-speaking culture eases adaptation. Challenges. Financial constraints. Barcelona's finances have been periculous, limiting big money moves. Squad needs. Barcelona may prioritize players with exceptional mobility or a specific profile to complement Pedri and Gundogan or De Jong. Outcome likelihood. Possible if Barcelona can balance their books and Marco Enzo's price tag is reasonable. An Enzo who can provide ball progression and defensive balance would be tempting. Paris Saint-Germain, the superstar city.